Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video. And a couple of videos ago, we took a look at the best cards in Standard in a while from United Stormwind. But you know what nobody ever does? You know what nobody ever does for the video is hyping up the next expansion. Take a look at what the worst cards are. What's the absolute trash? What do you absolutely hope you won't open up? Or maybe I'll be totally wrong about these cards and they'll actually be insane and I'll look silly. So, I thought it'd be fun to take a look today at the 10 worst cards for United Stormwind. Like, what were they even thinking making these? Before we get into it, let's hear a word from our sponsor today. I'm excited to talk about Fatalcore, the sponsor of today's video, an independent card game, digital card game that you can play completely free to play. Every card and in-game item is earned by the player and is freely tradable in a player-controlled market. We've covered this game before. You can check out older videos as well to go over more details of the game. But what they're really excited about, what Fatalcore is really excited about, is a new draft mode launching right before their official launch on Steam. I have been honored to be one of the first people to talk about it outside of the Discord through Fatalcore's promotions here. And basically, in addition to typical draft mechanics where, you know, you pick a selection of cards from a selection of cards, you will have a chance to create your own cards in the drafting process, making sure that no two games of draft will ever be the same. The Steam release is anticipated to go live at the end of August, and a very easy way is to add it on your Steam wish list. They're also looking for beta testers prior to release, so players who are interested, create an account at Fatalcore, tcg.com, as well as join their Discord. And if they're coming from our video today using our link, you'll get a huge bonus of 10,000 PF will be awarded. That is enough currency to build almost an entirely full collection. So check out Fatalcore and let's get back to the video. And thanks to Fatalcore for sponsoring this video. Anyways, let's take a look at the top 10 worst cards from United Stormwind. So starting off at number 10, we have Twilight Deceptor. Just listen to me in my review earlier. There's not that much self-damaging stuff in Priest. I mean, you have Psyfiend, you have Raise Dead, but overall, you don't have a lot of self-damaging stuff, and I don't see it being that reliable, that consistent. Very little support, unless I'm missing something, but I don't think I am. That's right, I'm not missing anything. If any hero took damage this turn, draw... Whoops, well, I guess it shouldn't be on the list then, because that's not that bad. I think this guy needs to learn to read before he starts reviewing cards. So actually starting off at number 10, we have Celestial Ink, the new mage weapon, 2-mana 0/2 weapon. After you spend 5 mana on spells, reduce the cost of a spell in your hand by 5, lose 1 durability. This card in itself isn't particularly awful. Discounting spells can be good. I just don't see how this will play at all in the mage meta, particularly in standard where there's no real good big mage spells outside of maybe a Flame Strike or a Mask of Cthulhu. But overall, you're going to spend 2 mana to discount a cheap spell, because you're going to be running cards like Ignite and all the cheap fire spells, or you're running Incanter's Flow and discounting spells. You're effectively going to spend 2 mana to barely get any discount at all. It just doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. But as you can see at number 10, the card's not particularly bad, so the power level of this expansion is probably pretty high. At number 9, we have the Paladin weapon, Lightbringer's Hammer. It's a 3-mana 3/2 weapon, so like Fiery War Axe, but it has lifesteal, but it can't go face. So this is purely a control card, or like a mid-range control-ish card for Paladin that doesn't really have a controlled deck, period. I mean, you got Libram Paladin kind of, but they're not going to waste their time with Lightbringer's Hammer when they already have the Libram weapon and Libram of Hope, and this can't be upgraded, it can't be buffed, it doesn't really have any synergies with healing outside of just the lifesteal. It feels like a throwaway card for maybe a future expansion. Maybe this will make more sense in a future expansion, but overall, it's kind of worse than War Axe because you can't go face, but I guess you could get a bit of healing, but overall, it just seems like a complete dud to me, and it's an epic, so that feels kind of rough. Number 8, we have a Shaman weapon, actual Shaman cards making the list after they got so much good stuff, but we got Auction House Gavel, 2-mana 2/2 weapon, so really bad stat line on a weapon. A 2/2 weapon just doesn't kill much. Like 1 mana deal 2 feels bad. Like 1 mana deal 2 removal, it doesn't feel great because the 2 health like break point is just not fantastic. We got this on the weapon for 2 mana, but your upside is you reduce the cost of 1 Battlecry minion in your hand by 1. So you're spending 2 mana to get 2 mana discount and you get 4 damage for it. It's just bad. Like you're investing a lot of mana for a bad weapon that won't kill much for mana cheat that you'd rather just, save from not playing the weapon and wasting a deck slot. It's just kind of bad. It's just kind of awful. And when you have so many insane weapons in Shaman, like Whack-A-Mole or Doomhammer, I don't think you're going to be wasting your time with Auction House Gavel, even when you can give yourself Wind Fury and all of that with like a Gnar. It's just, yeah, not a good card at all. At number 7, we have the Warlock spell Dreaded Mountain. This card to me just seems horrendous. It's 3 mana. Give a minion +1/+1, but when it dies, you get an Endless Dreadsteed, which is like the old nerf Dreadsteed, where it just comes back after it dies in a turn, and that's it. You keep getting the 1/1 back. 1/1s don't really do much, and I guess you can use it as like a sacrifice token to either heal or like do the 2 mana or 2 damage AoE. But other than that, you really aren't having much synergies with this. Dreadsteed itself, back in the day, even the unnerfed version that you could keep bringing back as many times as you want in one turn, wasn't really good. It was a cool card, loved it, but it wasn't that good. And this seems just bad. This seems terrible. And Warlock is actually probably going to be fine this expansion, but this card and an epic to boot just seems like an absolute garbage card. At number 6, we have Florist, neutral minion, 2 mana, 2/3. At the end of your turn, at then end of your turn, weird typo. It's just whatever. I'm being a jackass. Reduce the cost of a nature spell in your hand by 1. So you are spending 2 mana to guarantee that you cheat 1. Seems like a bad deal. You need this to live multiple turns. Your deck has to run nature spells. They need to be worth cheating out. And you need to at least get 2 procs for this to pay for it. It's just bad. This card is awful. I don't know what you're playing this. This is even that good of an arena pick. It could be okay, I guess. You know, River Croc's not the worst arena pick, but yikes, this is awful. And it's so bad, they didn't even bother to spell check it. That's how bad this card is. At number 5, we have the Impatient Shopkeep. 3 mana, 3/3. Tradable rush minion. Yay, this card looks just whatever. Like, are you ever putting this into a constructed deck? Unless you're going for tradable achievements, where you need to trade as many cards as possible. There are achievements for tradable. I mean, we saw this in a Warrior. We saw Warrior literally have a 3 mana, 3/3 rush before. No tradable. That barely ever saw any play. And Warrior could utilize the heck out of Rush. And that was back in Witchwood when Rush was like brand new. And it still saw no play, or very little play. And yeah, this card just feels like a pack filler. It feels like a good arena card. It's a good arena card. But other than that, it's just like, I thought we were past the pack filler days, but you know, they still sneak a few in there, and this is just not that fantastic whatsoever. Number 4, I have the most confusing card in the set, at least in my opinion, is Remote Controlled Golem. 4 mana, 3/6 mech. After this takes damage, shuffle 2 Golem parts into your deck when drawn, summon a 2/1 mech. So you can summon the mechs that don't have rush, and this literally has no synergy at all in Warrior right now, outside of, you know, whirlwind effects, I guess, but there's no big mech synergies, there's no summoning mech synergies, there's literally nothing. You have Dr. Boom and Wild that can give these mechs rush, but the card in itself isn't that bad, but you're never putting it in a deck because it just doesn't do anything. It's just weird. It's like this is from another expansion, and they're like, we need to fill a slot in Warrior. We can't come up with the card. We have this next expansion. We'll just put this in early. Like, it's just bizarre. Maybe the mini set will make sense of this, but right now, why is this card in the expansion? It just is literally going to do nothing. So that's why I'm putting it so high on the list. I just can't make sense of why this card exists right now, at least. Number 3, we have the neutral legendary Auctioneer Jackson. 3 mana, 2/3. Whenever you trade, discover a card from your deck to draw instead. So you have to have Auction Master on the board, and then you have to have a tradable card in hand, and then you have to trade. And the upside of trading now is, instead of just drawing the card, you get to play tracking effectively and discover it. Is that worth playing a River Croc? No. Unless you're playing a combo deck and you have a bunch of tradables and you can play them all in one turn and then assemble your combo, I guess. But other than that, I literally have no idea. Like, this isn't like a minion you gotta kill. Like, oh no, they're gonna discover cards instead of drawing cards. They'll get slightly more consistent draw. Golly gee whiz, I have to kill this minion. It's just, I don't see the point of this card at all. Taking a look at all the tradable stuff and all the combos out there, Auctioneer Jackson just seems kind of pointless and useless, and it's a neutral legendary to boot. So yeah, kind of just out there, and I don't think it's going to see much of any play. At number 2, we have Deep Run Engineer. It's a 2 mana 1/2. Terrible stats. So what do you get for it? Battlecry. Discover a mech. Costs 1 less. Wow. You can get a mech. That's you can get that Warrior mech we took a look at and discount it. And I guess that's your insane synergy, but you know, discover bonus doesn't really exist anymore. You don't get class cards that often. You're just gonna get a garbage mech for 1 less mana, and you paid 2 mana for a 1/2, so you kind of navigated your mana cheat, and the value sucks. And what year is this card from? This feels like this is like would be League of Explorers. Like we're introducing what Discover does. It's just so out of place. But yeah, that's your Discover a mech card. It's it exists, that's for sure, and certainly warranted at number 2 on the list. And number 1, I mean, I have to give it to this card. I have to give it to the Ogre card. Two-Faced Investor, 3 mana, 2/4. At the end of your turn, reduce the cost of your card in your hand by 1, but you have a 50% chance of increasing the card cost instead. So you're playing an understated minion, you're playing a 3 mana, 2/4, and you're actively making your cards probably worse, especially if you're me and you're never winning this flip. It's just like, so bad. Like, what if you're running a survival of fittest and you hit that? Well, that's unplayable. Your Deathwing's unplayable. Your Yashiraj is unplayable. And or you could make it 9 mana. Wow. Like, it's just not worth it. When you have cards like Efficient Octobot in the game of Hearthstone right now, Two-Faced Investor is kind of hilarious to look at. I appreciate the theme and the flavor of a bad ogre card, but as it's in the name, it's a bad ogre card, and it's got to be number 1 on the list. So let me know in the comments below what you think are the worst cards. Are some of these actually really good? And I'm stupid as always, because let's be real, this guy's an idiot. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.